I have just discovered an autistic trait that regularly leads to overwhelm and burnout. It is so simple and straightforward once you see it, but I didn't quite realize the impact it was having until today. Hi everyone, Paul Mikulev here from Autism from the Inside. I make weekly videos exploring the nuances of neurodiversity and emotional intelligence, so make sure you hit subscribe to get the latest content. What happens when you try to pour water into a cup that's already full? This is a pretty straightforward question. It's not a trick question. We all know what happens. If the cup is already full, when you try and add more, it just overflows. And that's a pretty common way of thinking about overwhelm and a lack of capacity in general. If I'm already full, then doesn't matter how much I try and add more, whether that's trying to process more information or remember more stuff or keep up with all of my commitments. If I'm already at capacity, then adding any extra is just not possible. However, what is the problem there? What's the cause of being full? Very often we might think of the cause of there's just too much coming in. That's why I'm full. I'm getting overwhelmed by all of these things, and that's why my cup is full, and that's why I'm feeling overwhelmed at the moment. And that's partially true. That's definitely part of the answer. But today, I'm realizing that there is an autistic trait that a lot of us have that is actively making the situation worse. And this trait is essentially not being able to let things go. If I could regularly empty my cup, if I had a little tap down the bottom and I could just open it and let everything out every once in a while, then it would be much less likely that I would always be in the top 10% and have such limited capacity to absorb any more information. And what I'm realizing is my brain actively likes to hold on to things. I find it really difficult to get rid of stuff, like physical stuff, for example. Some people might be collectors of things. I went through a phase when I was a teenager of collecting almost everything you could imagine. I had a sticker collection, I had a letter collection, I had a stamp collection, I had a coin collection, I had a used pencil sharpenings collection. I have no idea what I thought I was going to do. I just thought it would be fun to see how much could pile up in this box of pencil sharpenings. The point is that because I find it so difficult to throw stuff out, and this is an executive function challenge, like prioritizing what should I keep, what should I throw away. That's actually quite a challenging thing to answer. To answer the question of what am I going to keep, I need to imagine a future scenario. I need to imagine multiple future scenarios where this thing is either going to be useful or it's not going to be useful. And if I can think of enough likely scenarios where I'm going to need this thing in the future, then I should keep it. I should file it away somewhere. I should put my passport in a safe place where I'm going to remember where it is so that next time I need to use it, I'm going to know where it is. Whereas for lots of things in daily life, I just don't need to hold on to them. The correct place would be in the bin, permanently away, so that they don't clutter up my desk, or in this case, my brain. So I'm deliberately mixing metaphors here because there's lots of overlap between having physical stuff and I'm not sure what to do with this old thing that reminds me of that one time and that one place, but I should probably just throw it away anyway because I can just remember it in another way. But similarly, in my brain, when I have an idea, what am I going to do with it? Especially if I can't act on it right now. Do I write it down? This is a constant problem with new video ideas. Sometimes I get 5 to 10 new video ideas in a day. I can't act on all of those ideas as soon as they come up. I have to either file them away where I'm going to find them again later, or I need to just forget about them entirely. And because of this executive function challenge of prioritizing and imagining and essentially evaluating what I've got to see if it's worth keeping or not, I end up saying, it's just too hard. I'm not sure if I'm going to need this idea in future, so I'll just keep it. And that sounds okay in the short term. It's actually not the worst short-term strategy, but the problem with that, it builds up. What am I going to do with that massive, overwhelming pile of unsorted ideas? It's taking up space in my brain. It's filling my cup, which means every time I empty it, I'm only emptying it halfway, and I'm keeping all of these ideas in my brain that I should probably just get rid of and forget about. And that is one of the reasons why I have such limited capacity at the moment. I'm remembering an analogy that I used to use, especially in the early days after discovering my own autism. I would describe my brain like a filing cabinet, where if something gets filed away, then great, it works really well. And if something doesn't have a place at the moment to be put away, then it just gets put in the other pile, like a sticky note on the outside of the filing cabinet, and that just builds up into this massive, overwhelming pile of unsorted stuff. So I don't know about you, but I'm realizing how difficult it is to let go of ideas. There's just too many ideas. There's too many things that I want to keep holding on to. And it feels stressful. I talked a little bit about this in my new autistic trait video on responsibility hypervigilance. I don't want to forget the thing that I'm trying to remember. Don't forget to remember. And so it clogs up my brain when actually what I need to do is shut down, reset, start up again later. And that's one of the reasons that rest is so difficult, because if I'm not actively flushing out my system and giving my system a proper reset, then when I come back after my rest, I've only recharged the 50%, not the 100%, because I haven't let go of that stuff in order to actually sort it out. It's a little bit like physically having a doom pile on my desk or in my room, and it just keeps growing and keeps taking up space. If I want to feel really refreshed, I need to get rid of it somehow. And probably the easiest way to get rid of it is right at the start of that process, by not holding on to too many things in the beginning. Instead of, I'm not sure if I should keep this, just like, seriously, let's just throw it out in advance, and it's probably not going to be that important anyway. So, what can we do? And this is my big question for the whole week. What can we do about this tendency to hold on to things and not let them go, like be too afraid to let them go? Well, one of them is essentially to practice. Get used to letting something go and see what happens. Does the world fall over? Probably not. Am I going to forget things from time to time? Probably. Is that going to be okay? Probably. If there is something really important that I desperately need to remember, then either I will be reminded of it again, or my brain will have trouble forgetting about it, or if I've identified that as very important, then I can take steps to set myself a note or a reminder, or plan when I'm going to do that very, very important task that I can't forget. But what I need to do for 99% of the ideas that I have and the thoughts that I have, is let them go. If I have a thought, let it go. I don't need to hold on to every thought. And if I can practice this ability of having a thought, having a brilliant idea even. I have so many brilliant ideas that are probably less brilliant in hindsight than they feel in the moment, but that's beside the point. They feel like a brilliant idea at the time, and I try and hold on to it, and I try and write it down, and I try and make sure that I capture this moment, but moments are not meant to be captured. Moments come and go. There are an infinite number of moments in every second of every day. We can't capture them all. And when I try to capture them all, I get overwhelmed. And I'm wondering if you can relate to that, because I have a feeling that this is a fairly common autistic trait, the inability to let stuff go, whether that's physical stuff, whether that's emotional stuff, whether that's ideas in your head. Sometimes letting stuff go can be a bit of a challenge. So I might leave it there for today on this. If you're interested in having more chats with people who are likely to understand your experience, then make sure you check out the AFTI website. You can get yourself a free come and see ticket to one of our 4 social hangouts a month. We've also recently started a new online event, which is a watch party of the monthly webinar. So lots of new stuff happening all the time there. I hope you've found this interesting, at least, if not valuable. Let's leave it there for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.